Alethea, we're back.
Hi, Carolyn.
How are you?
Good.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. So we are going to read a channeling that I did via automatic writing for Carolyn the other day. Normally, I would just write it and then send it via email to someone, and then we would go through it either on the phone or continuing electronically answering questions. I always allow follow-up because there's generally follow-up questions that
I
happen.
bet there are.
Not always, but usually,
Yeah,
which is part of the package deal.
right.
So to do a channeling, what I usually do is ask someone if they have specific questions that they want their guides to ask their guides, their spirit team. And, it can be one or two, usually not a whole bunch because that would take a long time. Or maybe they just want a general idea of their direction in life, where they are right now, if there's anything their guides want them to know. Either is fine. All I really need is their permission.
Hmm.
And then I go ahead and do it when I have a quiet space. And so the other day, Carolyn asked me to channel some questions she had about the holistic campus community that we're doing together. And so this was what her guides brought through. And I'm just going to read it through here. And this is the first time Carolyn has seen it, so we're going to have a dialogue after to see if there's any questions she has. And the tone is always a little bit different, which is always interesting for when, you work with different people's guides. So they began with, "Dearest Carolyn, what a beautiful journey you are embarking on at this time as the new year approaches and promises the rebirth of a higher frequency of light. The group you are gathering together is a collection of souls on the shared mission to realize the frequency of divine light in all of humanity and to assist the collective consciousness and evolution of love. Dear one, we are so honored to be a part of this process that you have agreed to take on, knowing that this is taking a lot of effort and work on your part. And yet you continue to shine with grace, and then knowing that this is part of a greater unfolding to the light. May you know that you are being embraced by so many beings of light here today and always as you go forth on this journey. That you are surrounded by help and guidance in the ethereal realms, and there is a golden army of support here with you, with all of you. Let it be known that this is a project that is expected to bloom like a lotus. The unfolding of each offering as it makes its way to the light will be multiplied, adding more petals to the lotus as each offering is ignited and passed on to others. You will see that this is a growing ground for the newly awakened and a seeding of the new frequencies of being, allowing for ease in the transition to a higher consciousness and way of living for all of humanity. For you are all interconnected beings of light, and you are interconnected to all light, which includes the higher realms. And so you see, this unfolding benefits the entire evolution of what you would call the universe, or the expansion of the Christ light of consciousness. And so we are asking you to simply carry forth with trust and allow the assistance to come in from the higher realms when it is needed. To step back when you need to pause and look with new eyes and allow a new paradigm to open before you. You will see over time that this unfolding will morph and take on new dimensions and purposes that you have yet to imagine in your conscious mind, and that is okay. The unfolding of the future is okay because you know that you have the foundation in place. You are germinating the seeds, and as these seeds reach forth toward the light, they will expand and grow in miraculous ways. So, dear one, we ask that you take time for yourself to rest and to allow for your own well-being to be honored. Remember, there is no rushing in divine time. There is no set date that needs to be followed. This is a constraint of fear. In the full presence of the divine love, all is well and perfect. There is no essential timeline that needs to be met. We want you to think about this for a moment. Carolyn, feel the energy of hurry and deadlines. What does it feel like in your body? Is there a degree of tension that sets in? Yeah. Now remember freedom. What does it feel like in your body? Is there, oh, sorry, I lost my place. What does it feel like in your body? oh, sorry, now remember freedom, complete freedom of allowing and knowing, the sheer knowing through faith that all is perfect in divine time. Feel into this. Feel the tension slipping away, knowing that that is simply an imprint of the old paradigm of fear. This need to follow a linear time frame disappears when you step into the light and freedom of no time, and knowing that all is in divine and perfect order. Can you see this, Carolyn? Yeah. Do you understand what we were telling you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Even the old rules of astrology are breaking down. These codes that follow a superstitious belief system, if you will, need to be released, as they are trappings of fear. Let us reassure you, Carolyn, that when you follow that path of your divine calling, the only constraints are the reins you allow fear to hold. Wouldn't it be best, we are asking you, to allow that to unfold like a flower naturally unfolds to light? The flower has no concept of fear. It has no concept of time aside from the naturally flowing rhythms of nature that occur around it. It does not judge or try to alter this rhythm. It simply allows. And what a miracle that unfolding of the beautiful flower is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There is no greater grace and beauty to be found in nature. So you see, Carolyn, we are asking you to trust the natural unfolding of this infinitely petaled lotus, which I found so beautiful, that you are facilitating as it comes into being, knowing that it is already coming into being and that it will continue to come into being. We ask you to pause and look at each petal that you see now at this time and assess whether there is any premature withering due to an external force imposed upon it. If there is, perhaps it is an indication that there is a pause needed, a stepping back into grace and allowing. Remember that this is a multi-stage process that you are a part of. This campus of light facilitators will grow and flourish as you allow it to, in perfect and divine timing. There is no need for extreme hustling or stress. Remember the imprint of this, the constriction and lack of expansion that it creates, when in fact your true intention is to expand in limitless unfolding into the light. And so we welcome you to consider this and to ask questions. With our undivided love, your spirit team. That was your channeling.
Oh God, I want to cry. That was beautiful.
I actually, when I channel it, I usually, I think there was twice where I was tearing up. So that's for me too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it takes a minute to process, right? It's a lot. Yeah. And since you didn't see ahead of time, it's a lot to take in.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, isn't that just amazing? We all try to write like that. Okay. You know, it's so funny, Alethea, because all these sessions are going on and we're on a deadline, and I get loud and clear and stop worrying about the deadline.
Right. Exactly.
Because we imposed that deadline.
Yes. And that seemed to be the real message they wanted you. Don't worry about a deadline. Don't worry about a specific time, because the unfolding is already happening, right? And it doesn't have to happen all at once. As you already know, I mean, as we've talked about in the group sessions, right? It's a multi-stage process, and to accept that as the lotus is, which I found like a beautiful metaphor, right? That lotus, that unfolding each petal at a time, right? And it's infinitely petaled, so there's no limits. But there's also no constraints, there's no saying that you can't allow it to unfold over time and that people will accept that, right?
So, Alethea, do you think that means, okay, so in our little human brains, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
January 8th, that's the day. That's the day we want to launch this.
Right, ideal.
Right, and that came through astrology and talking to practitioners and whatnot.
Right.
And so we have the practitioners we have. I stopped accepting them. We have a waiting list, but
Yeah.
So to me, it's literally the workflow. And I know they're probably going, yeah, you're not listening down there.
Right.
But it's the workflow. But I don't know. It's the human side that says, but this is kind of how I think it has to work.
And
Does
honestly,
that make sense at all there?
and honestly, I think our guides know that, and I think your guides know that, and I don't think that there's any obviously any judgment, but I think that
No.
they just want you to give yourself permission to, first of all, honor your own well-being, right? So if you need to relax
Okay.
and take a break, that's okay, right? That's okay. You don't want to take on more than you need to, because that compromises your own well-being. And I don't know if other people are feeling compromised as well, but anytime there's that compromising of our own energy and well-being, then that puts restraints on everything, and it's not good for anyone. So I think it's just the knowing that I think we get so caught up in time and linear time, right? And we feel like there's always a deadline that we need to meet, when in fact there really isn't, because there's no time. There's the idea of no time in the real universe, right?
Right.
In the non-3D universe, there's no time,
Right.
which is so hard for our brains to understand.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that does make sense from the well-being standpoint, because it's been constant and it's constant. And I was thinking, I haven't been swimming in like 3 weeks, and I can feel it and all of that. And so this is probably just, okay, take some time. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. And if not every piece of the website is ready, shoot, sorry.
That's okay. Do you have to turn it off?
Yeah.
No. Do what you have to do.
What was that?
I said turn it off if you have to. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, they got it.
Phew.
Yeah. That figures. I didn't even think of the phone.
Oh, you know what? Hey, it's life.
So, other questions about it?
Okay, so no, it's comforting. It's really, really comforting. And how cool is it that the exact point, of course they understand this exact point, they're the ones that placed it here for us to do.
Right.
But think about it though, Alethea, from the standpoint of this gets to affect the energy here, which I don't know, that's just huge to me.
Yeah. That I love that it's part of the greater good,
Yeah. And I got that loud and clear. That's.
And it's going to ripple out in an infinite number of ways. So I think that's beautiful, when we know we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, for the greater good.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we've talked about this, but when we think of just all of us, when we even come together on our group calls, that energy is just amazing. And we keep doing that, and it all ripples out. It's just, that's the point. And you know what, this message, and just let it be.
Right.
We let it be. And we all do what we do well and do it and take it from there.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect.
I still want to cry. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. That was really, really great.
You're welcome, Carolyn. I love doing this.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Okay. Well, I'm good, honey.
Oh, good. Perfect.
I'm good. Oh, okay. We can end there, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, it's all good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Carolyn. Thank you.
All right, honey.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care. Okay.